Hey guys, welcome back to The Real Way. These are real stories of real people in a real community working to serve Christ in a real way. I'm Brandon Morrell, the Director of Youth Evangelization and Digital Ministry here at St. Thomas Aquinas and Our Lady Help of Christians. And today, on The Real Way, we have Phyllis. How you doing, Phyllis?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. So, Phyllis, for anybody that may not know, and there probably isn't that many currently, but for any newcomers, who are you? What do you do? How long have you been around, etc.?
Okay, I started working here in September of 2000 as the tuition person who did it for St. Thomas Aquinas School.
Ah.
And I did the lunch program also. I worked for Monsignor Callahan when I came over. I used to be the head of the Home and School Association in St. Thomas Aquinas School.
Okay.
Once my son graduated, Monsignor Callahan asked me to come over and do the finances. The woman who used to do it was sick. So from there, I stayed 4 years. Unfortunately, Monsignor Callahan died in 2004. And Father Doyle was coming in to replace him. But I had originally turned around and I was going to leave in the end of the year, the end of June that year. And Father Harrington asked me to stay because he's told me that Father Doyle and I would hit it off. We did. I then took over the accounting job because the school was closed in 2005. So I took over the accounting job where I did bills, parish status system, bulletin, and a variety of other things.
Sounds right, working for a parish.
And then when Father Doyle left and Monsignor Brown came in, I worked for him for a couple of years until, unfortunately, we all know he died. And now I have Father Dwayne, who could be my son. But I love working for the parish. I've been here since, I think we moved into the parish when I was 13.
Wow.
I used to live on Coleman Street between Quentin and Pay. And then when I got married, I lived on Ryder Street between Flatlands and Pay. Still live there. Still here. 4 kids, 5 grandkids.
Yeah, so look, that's a lot of history. There's a lot of connection in all of that. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Every time I talk to somebody from this community, there seems to be like, I don't know, it's like going back to your family house. Even if you move away, went to college, even when it comes back. There's something about a culture that's been established here, a community that's been established here that creates that kind of result.
Well, St. Thomas Aquinas was always a very close-knit parish. Everybody knew everybody's kids. If you pulled up at school and their parents weren't there, you grabbed the kids, you took them home. It wasn't we didn't have cell phones back then in there.
Right.
So they all knew that if your kids weren't there, somebody took them home for you.
Right.
Or somebody has them. It's changed a lot as far as not as many families, I feel, participate with the goings-on of the parish. And I'm not talking about our regular parishioners who are always here, because God bless them. They've been keeping us going. I'm talking about the families who just drop their kids off at school and pick them up, and they're not involved with anything else that goes in the parish.
Right. Well, I think that's good, because I think there's a large group of people that know there's a million things happening here, right? For every age group, every community, every culture. And then there's another group of people that kind of are like, they're on the word that like Pope Francis and them use, the peripheries, like they're on the outskirts. They touch, but they're not fully immersed yet.
Correct.
And so this kind of gives a little bit more awareness to that stuff.
Yes, and you want the families with the kids that are in Midwood Catholic Academy to participate in, because that's how your parish grows. Because then the younger ones want to come to church and they want to do things that the parish is doing. But if they're not brought here to see how things are working, they'll never know. Right.
So let's back up for a second. So you started for the school, then
I started for the school back in 1980.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's when my daughter
Wait,
first
hold on.
started.
Okay, wait, because you said 2000. So wait, hold on.
I started working for the parish in 2000.
Okay.
I worked for the school from 1980. I used to substitute teach.
Ah.
And I used to, I was on the home school board, but the last 3 years I was there, I was the president of the home school board.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's even.
Yeah, because you couldn't work for the parish if your child was in. I couldn't be doing tuition if my kid was still in
Yeah,
St.
right,
Thomas. You know,
They
it
don't want
was
somebody
after
to-
my son graduated, and that's when Monsignor asked me to come over and do the bills.
Gotcha. Well, there's something that like there's like a underlying theme in that story, and I've noticed this with a few people where it's like you had a natural skill set when it came to the bookkeeping and paperwork and finances and all that stuff, and then that was recognized, and then that was incorporated into the greater parish life of everything, right? For you, and maybe this is for some of those families or people who may be first time coming to mass or whatever, what's the power of like recognizing people's like skill set and then making that welcome to the rest of the community?
Well, I feel that once you get involved in the parish and people get to know you, they'll turn around and say, "Oh, they're good at party planning," or "Oh, they're good at teaching the kids certain aspects." They can't get involved if they're not here. So you want to turn around and you really want the younger crowd to get in here. You know, like I said, I understand all the parishioners here. God bless them. They all chip in. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be around because, you know, money is very tight. But to get the kids all geared up and they want to come here and they want to do things, you have to turn around and you have to show them that they can have an enjoyable time. You can look at a person and say, "Wow, you know what? She might be good if we needed a craft project, or she might be good if we needed to do a movie night." You can't recognize somebody when you don't know what their things are, what they can do.
So the power of being seen, the power of being known.
Yes.
The power of understanding each other's stories and building those relationships.
Yeah, I understand a lot. You know, a lot of parents, the first-time parents here, they get shy. But you got to learn to introduce yourself. Tell them your name, your child's name, what you do. Maybe you're new to the parish, and you're coming in. You want welcoming. You want somebody welcoming to turn around to you and say, "Oh, it's so nice to meet you. This is what goes on in our parish. You really should bring the kids, or you should participate. Oh, we have whatever. I don't even know. There's so many things that go on. I don't know what goes on around here anymore." But I do know that, you know, between the Domocs that they have for the teenagers, and they do family day for the kids. You know, we have a knitting group, and we're always traveling.
About the knitting group, yeah.
We're always traveling.
Is a big one.
So I mean, there are things that do go on. So if you participate, and people will recognize, well, the other things that you could do besides, you know, just show up for a knitting class.
Yeah, knitting class. I mean, the grief thing, the friendship club.
Yeah, the grief-stricken thing just started out not too
Right.
long ago.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, those are all good things for the parish. If you keep people involved, you know, you'll get people to stay and you know, and spread the word of God that, "Oh my God, I love going to church. You'll never believe it. We do this, we do that," because really, a parish is not just attending Mass. A parish is being involved, knowing what's going on. Okay? So if somebody turns around to you and asks you a question outside church, you should know the answer. Or know who you could talk to get them the answer.
Right.
So.
Right. So, I mean, you've said it kind of in undertone ways, but for you, what makes St. Thomas, this community, special place that you
It's
think?
always been a special place to me since I was a kid. I mean, we never had to worry about us walking anywhere. We were at 10 o'clock Mass every day in this place, okay? Kids always went to the chapel. Kids never went to the big church.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there was a 10 o'clock Mass. This church used to be covered in banners. Every family had a banner made with all the kids' pictures on, and they hung across all of these bars.
That's kind of a beautiful thing. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah.
Yes, and we used to come in I'm telling you, there were many times I was at church, and when Monsignor Callahan used to ring the bell, my son used to yell, "Come in!" And Monsignor used to laugh up on the altar. But he said, never take a kid out of church because they're crying or they're talking, because I can talk over any child. And he always made all the kids feel welcome. He used to take them up on the altar, okay, and let them sit while he was doing the blessing of the sacrament. And they all used to sit on the floor around him. And then those who were communion, that were able to get communion, he walked around and he knew who they were. And he walked around and gave them communion. Then they all went back to their parents' seats. So, you know, it's things like that that keep involved. Father Dwayne does a lot too. You know, he tries to involve everybody in everything that he's doing. He's forever doing something, okay? And he tries to keep the parish together. Let's do this, let's do that. He's been on more pilgrimages than I can imagine.
Yeah. The man's a world traveler. Right. Okay. Man, okay, you already said so much. And I think it's cool to see someone who's been connected on all those levels. What do you, if you can say that there was like a misconception, or people just, maybe they just don't know, right? And just, because even, I thought that was beautiful what you just said about like the banners and having the kids and all, right? But it's something like, man, maybe for the person that is on the outskirts, like, man, I didn't really know that this could be like that. Or, man, I didn't know this church was like that, or this community could be like that. What would you? But
I think all they would have to do is come here for any kind of event, not even for church. Come here for any kind of event, talk to people, especially people who have been in the parish, and they can tell you it's it always was a very close-knit parish. Everybody knew what was going on. They welcomed you. I mean, we used to have coffee and cake every Sunday after 10:30 Mass over in the school, in the cafeteria. And the Home and School Association used to run it. You know, the music in church. I mean, you know, these are all things that draw people in. And I honestly and truly think that, in a way, they come, especially if they're new, and they come and, you know, I've run into parishioners that said, "Oh my God, I didn't realize that person sings so beautifully at church. Oh, you know, I didn't realize you do these things." And there are a lot of parishioners, that get upset about certain things, but it's, you know, change is not going to be good for everybody. They have to adjust. And we're changing for the good. So.
Right. So different than, and this would probably be my last question before a wrap-up moment, but different than, there is a community aspect, there's a family aspect, there's a school aspect, right? But different than like working for another job or being in a community organization, right? Like it being a parish and Christ being the center. Like, how important is that for you, and you think for everything that we're doing?
That's very important to me, because every time I tell somebody, "Oh, I can't believe you're still working. You're still there." I said, well, I always said that if the job was good for you and you enjoy your work, you'll be there for the rest of your life. I'm here 24 years come September, and I never really felt that I just couldn't take the job anymore. I got to get out of here. I always felt welcoming. I love when we go on retreats, and I love that we have meetings every week. And, you know, Father Dwayne is always asking everybody what their opinion is on things and voices his opinion. And if we're not happy with it, we do turn around and say, well, I wouldn't do it that way, I would do it this way.
Right.
St. Thomas has always been a very warm parish. You know, they were always wanted you to come in. They always tried to do things with you, involve you in things, not just the church, the community itself. There is a lot here to do. You just have to want to do it. You get involved.
Right. So so I think that expression of Christ, and I love even what you were telling the story about the priest bringing the kids around. That's what heaven looks like, right? Is us around that table with God, and I think we see that in mass, of course, but in the rest of the expression of the community. So, yeah. All right. Final thoughts. Anything else you think people should know before we kind of close up? How they connect? Yeah.
They really should. If you don't know St. Thomas and you're a Catholic, you really should come, invest some time here, get to know the people, get to know the programs. Your kids will not be upset about it with all the things that we do for the youth. Give it a chance. Come see us. Come to Mass. Introduce yourself. And that's what I would say to somebody who was, coming here for the first time.
No, amen. Yeah. All right. So thank you guys for watching. This is The Real Way. Again, real stories, real people. It's a real community. This is not, sometimes you see stuff on the internet and it's just like someone in the studio and they're not connected to anyone. They're isolated. No, these are real people connected to this. So we pray that this inspires you to join us here in our community. And maybe you're someone who's not so close by. Somehow you have a family member or a friend that comes here and you live somewhere distant. Go get connected to your own community and serve Christ in a real way. So thank you guys, and God bless. Bye.